Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
Well, good morning out there in Kindness Rising Land. I am glad you've chosen to join me here at Kindness Rising this morning. I am a little behind. Okay, how's it going out there? Good morning, Nitty. Good morning. How you doing today? You are up and Adam. I appreciate that you were here. Seems like perhaps waiting for me this morning. I am struggling a bit this morning to get it going, even though I've been up. I've been distracted. It's been not the best start of the day, but I am glad you're here as I try to get my resources together to do the show. We've been talking all week about noise and about signal. Noise versus signal. Sully, good morning. Glad you're here too. Absolutely. Noise versus signal and why it's so important that we filter out that noise and find our way to becoming the signal, being the signal. And again, the heater is on. Oh boy. All right. I appreciate it. It's a start. Even if it's not the best start. I got you, Keith. For sure. You know what? I showed up. I'm here. And we're going to continue the conversation. I got it together. I found my way. It's what happens when you go live. Sometimes things just happen. Wake up in the morning, you got a giant cold sore on your face. You're bouncing around, a few distractions in life, but you show up when you're scheduled. And that's what I did. So let's try this quick experiment. Have you ever heard someone try to explain something and by the end you somehow understand it less than when they started? More words, less meaning. More slides, less clarity. More explanation and more confusion, right? Complexity is often mistaken for intelligence in our world. Oh, I got my fidgety bidgets and my giggity bibbits and my this, that, and the other and all these other things. But clarity is actually harder because it requires understanding down to the core. It requires discipline. It requires empathy. Because if people can't understand the idea, they're not going to be able to act on the idea. And you only create value with your ideas when they actually move somebody to do something, which leads us to today's thought. Today's episode is about clarity and how clarity and simplicity cut through. Welcome to Kindness Rising. Okay. I appreciate you all for coming out. Get involved in the chat. Say hello. Good morning, Roseanne. Good morning, Morgan Lab. Keith, Phyllis. I am glad you are here. Mike Sullivan, Sully, and Nitty out there on the West Coast coming out and saying good morning. Absolutely. Timu style novelty, Sully's talking about. Absolutely. More clarity, less Timu style novelty. I like your thoughts on that one. You had some bad Timu experiences, Sully? Just curious. Definitely. I like the idea of this ditching the noise, getting down to the signal. And you can do that with your physical space too, right? As Marie Kondo and all those talk about the joy of things. I agree. That's when you said Timu style. That's what I immediately went to. But that's not really the message so much today. We're still talking about communication and how signal is what puts out there to draw people in and tries to help, whereas noise is all about flash and trying to impress. Noise says, look how much I know, but signal says, here is something useful, right? Something you can use, something that improves your life, that makes things better in the world. Not just flash and, it's the old smoke and mirrors or flash and fire, but no, we're talking about true signal that reduces actual cognitive load, right? Everything gets so complex, your brain just gets overwhelmed. You can't see through it. But when you have strong signal and you keep things simple, that's going to reduce cognitive load of your own and of the people you're working with, or your audience. You're speaking to an audience that's going to help people move forward. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you guys out there in the world, out there on YouTube? And I don't know. I got that message again from LinkedIn saying there's something wrong with the stream. Every once in a while, it just happens. I don't know. I'll have to continue to try to sort that out. It seems like it seems rather what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god, my brain just went dead. Okay, so keeping it simple. Here's the thing. Simple doesn't have to mean simplistic either, though. It doesn't have to mean that it's so basic that it's like, okay, I'm learning nothing from it. But what it does mean is that it's useful. It boils down a complex concept into something small, a soundbite, a nugget that really sticks with you. That's how we learn through those things, right? That's how we repeat and share things and share ideas, right? When it's simple, you could travel from one mind to another. It can be applied to personal situations or other ideas that somebody has. But when it's so complicated, that noise gets stuck and it requires too much effort by the listener, by the user to interpret. And so it gets jettisoned. Let's move on to something a little bit clearer. It's not dumbing it down, but it's actually opening it up and opening up access for others. When you can being able to take a complex concept and boil it down to something simple so that people can understand it, understand how it works, how it fits into their lives. It's a key role of a marketer, right? And of a leader, being able to take something that's mind-boggling and new and a new idea in the world and being able to keep it simple. Nidhi, I think of you when I think about this, right? As you're building your app out, I appreciate that you're out there building it out, keeping it simple, being able to clearly articulate how it impacts people's lives. It's going to be a huge step for you as you go through that, and I appreciate the way you're doing it, going out there and sharing your ideas, letting people practice with it, try it, and see how it works, and get feedback. That is absolutely a great way to do it. You're opening up access, you're opening up understanding, and you're opening up possibility in that way. Thank you so much. All right. I'm going to change the music. And we're going to think about a couple of famous people, a couple celebrities, maybe stories that you may or may not know. I guarantee most of us know one of the stories. The other one was relatively new to me as I was exploring ideas and concepts. I had heard of the guy, but I didn't really understand exactly what he did and how he did it. And I'm still learning because it is pretty complicated. But I'm going to start with the one everybody knows. Famous example of clarity in modern communication. right? 25, 30 years ago, if you wanted to listen to your music, what did you do? You turned on the radio, you popped in a CD or a cassette, 8-track, whatever your record, whatever media you had. But then came along an idea that had behind it really complicated technical specs, storage architecture, data compression, all kinds of technical stuff, blah, 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 blah. But this man said, what if we put 1,000 songs in your pocket? Talking about Steve Jobs and the iPod. When the iPod came out, how simple, concrete, memorable, and repeatable that idea is. 1,000 songs in your pocket. He didn't lead with, we've got the ability to move the data from one format to another format and compress it and fit it and 1,000 songs in your pocket. That's a pretty memorable moment in clarity and in marketing and in messaging clarity. 1,000 songs in your pocket. Absolutely, Steve Jobs. And then there's this other guy. I was trying to find a photograph of him. Give me a second. I had it because I want to show you guys this dude. There he is. Well, it's going to give away who he is by doing it this way. Never mind. Anyway, there was a guy particularly famous in the 60s and 70s up through the 80s. He actually died in the 80s. A man named Richard Feynman. Does anybody know who Feynman is or was? Feynman. Richard Feynman. No, you ever hear of Albert Einstein? This guy was the Albert Einstein of a next generation, explaining complex physics concepts in ways that feel understandable and accessible, excuse me. As I'm learning more and more about him as a person who's able to take really complex ideas and make them understandable to the common people through experiment. He used humor a lot in showing his making his points about science and about physics. From what I've learned, he was instrumental in understanding the rationale, not the rationale, but what happened, the explanation of what happened during the Challenger disaster, which I think is appropriate given the launch we had yesterday. But that's not why I'm here to talk about this, to talk about Richard Feynman's work history and his resume. What I'm talking about is his belief. He wrote about how he thought about things and his thinking, and it basically comes down to this: if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it. That's really interesting, right? And he talked about breaking down things into their smallest parts and got into micro particles and stuff that I don't really fully understand. But he applied that to other things. If you can't explain something simply, you just may not understand it. Because clarity isn't just communication skill, it's actually a thinking skill, trying to get it down into its most digestible form. Clear thinking produces a clear language, and clear language builds trust. And that's what's huge. That's what's huge for us in business, in marketing. That's why picking our words and choosing how we present things matters so deeply to us, because if we can't clearly explain something, you're going to lose your audience and you're going to lose the trust. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, right? So that's a way to show our authority and our authenticity and to build trust is through clear language. That's what I'm talking about today. All right. Enough of that nonsense. Richard Feynman, check him out. You might be surprised about what he looks like. When I looked him up, I was doing research about famous people who or stories of people who took complex things and made them really simple. And this guy shows up. I'm like, who's this actor? No, not an actor, a quantum physicist, but definitely you can see in his eyes he's got a little sparkle. And he apparently he liked to do pranks and do physical, because he's a physicist. Ooh, believe it or not, do physical explanations that are surprising or that are have spectacle with them to make a point. All right. Let's also do a true kindness spotlight in kindness rising fashion, because we always talk about organizations that are doing good work for good people and multiplying kindness out there in the world. And this is an organization absolutely that that does that. Absolutely. And they are known as the Plain Language Association International. They're out of Canada, actually. Keith, if you're still out there or not getting ready for your show, it's a Canadian organization that brings together plain language supporters and practitioners around the world. Anyway, the whole point of what they do is to promote clear communication, accessible language, and professional, legal, medical, and public communication so that everyone can be absolutely clear. I worked in hospitals and health systems, and this was something that we worked on very much so, particularly in crisis situations. The use of clear and accessible languages to keep people safe and informed. Absolutely. And the work of this organization, the Plain Language Association. This is our founder, the founder, Canadian lawyer Cheryl Stevens and Kate Harrison Whiteside. They've been around for a while. They are a legit nonprofit organization. Has been around for about 15 years or so, helping across the entire world to build plain language for audience support, structure, design, expression, evaluation. They've done a whole science behind it. They do. They'll come out to the organization and help people to do this. They've worked with airlines and particularly high risk places or where international and language barriers might be an issue. So they're pretty cool. But their work helps to ensure that important information can be understood by the people who need it, because you certainly don't want confusion in certain moments in certain places, and confusion creates barriers and problems and risks, of course. But clear communication, that's going to improve your decision making, your inclusion, your confidence, and your trust. People's trust in you, your trust in your organization, and they're creating signal through simplification using plain language. Because signal is not about sounding impressive, it's about being understood. Plain Language Association International. That's our kindness spotlight for today. Did it. Yay for me. Okay. Did we? I screwed up my music again too. We're having fun. Okay. That's all right. It's ironic, perhaps, that on the day that I am talking about clarity and signal and having the ability to clearly message that I'm struggling a little bit with that. But it's true that your ability to clearly communicate shapes how people perceive your credibility, for sure. For sure. I hope I'm perceived as credible here because I'm willing to say, oh boy, here we go. But being able to translate your idea to someone, that is what credibility is about. It's about authority building, about authenticity, because people trust communicators who help them understand something that's useful, but also easy to understand. Absolutely. Sully. I agree with you 100%, Sully. Yes, that's part of huge part of what that we do in the public sector. What we do, what the world does. I've worked in public sector areas, right? Is trying to take these, again, complex ideas and make them understandable, and for social programs, for support. And we get caught up in legalese, and everybody gets frustrated with that. It's definitely a skill and an important factor in organizations, being able to translate those things into clearly understood. And that cuts through the noise, because there's so much noise. You walk around a public building, many public buildings, or through the world, and there is just signs everywhere and fire extinguishers, and if you don't know what we're trying to orient, looking around at all that stimuli, just trying to find the bathroom can be a problem. You know all about that stuff. Navigating inside of organizations, that's part of it. That's what signs are. Signs everywhere. The signs. Yes, no, I'm actually singing because I am filling time while I talk about the signs. Absolutely, sign overload is message overload is huge. Airplanes, again, another public transportation. You have to be mindful so that the right messages come through for everybody's safety. There's an art and a science to it. Absolutely. But we're talking more about from the perspective of being a creator and putting yourself out there, because when people understand what you do, by keeping it simple, they are much more likely to remember you. And when people remember you, they're more likely to trust you. And when you're trusted, they'll want to work with you, and that clarity helps to compound the results, the outcomes. Absolutely. All right. So what are we going to carry with us today? I'm going to kill the music, maybe switch the music. How about if we switch the music? Sunrise Mover. This is a good one. Here we go. Sunrise Mover. 3 ideas to carry with you today. This is your kindness compass for today. 3 little ideas that can help you to move this forward. The first one starts with simplify, right? Addition by subtraction. Clarity often comes from removing things, not adding them. What can I get rid of? How can I skip this step, right? Process simplification. Simplify. Focus on usefulness. Helpful ideas spread faster than impressive ones. Impressive ones come out and go, and then, but if they're useful, people latch onto them. So what is useful for you? What are the ideas? What we're building right here at Mornings in the Lab, for instance, is useful. A single place that you can go to put your message out there in the world through conversation OS, our software that's driving our production. So simplifying the use of technology to help people to get their message out clearly and simply and in a structured and organized way with speed, efficiency, accuracy, quality. That's what the Mornings in the Lab is building with Conversation OS in the Mornings in the Lab studio. Absolutely. All right. I had to get a commercial in there. Come on, guys. That's the way I do. I slide one in whenever I can, even in the middle of the kindness compass, focusing on usefulness. And the last is testing for understanding. Nitty, if you're still out there, and I hope you are, that's where I see you at right now. I felt it when we spoke, and I really appreciate that's the approach that you're taking. If someone else can explain your idea, then your signal is working. So being able to have me be able to explain what you're doing to the world is going to help to help people to understand what you're doing, and with the A app, that's going to help people to remember their commitments, show up on time, to document without making it a big freaking deal, right? Process, big deal, signing off on things, signatures, whatever the case may be. Boom, click a button. I agree to do this. All right, now we're all on the same page. Love that idea. Simplification. Signal travels through understanding, but noise that stops. What am I saying? Signal travels through understanding, right? But noise stops things with confusion. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right, we're at that point of Sunrise Mover where it really cranks up into that heavy finish. All right, welcome to Kindness Rising. I see people are joining us here just as we're winding down. That's okay. Sorry you missed us. Starting at 7:30 a.m. Eastern every weekday morning. That's what we do. We come here with Kindness Rising to get you up on the right side of the bed with a little bit of humor, a little bit of rising above the noise, not taking ourselves so lightly, or not taking ourselves so heavily, taking ourselves a little more lightly so that we can fly away with our day, because we are light and starting our day with a little bit of kindness before we get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends and fire up our engines with a little bit of real conversation and energy to get us started. Absolutely. All right. Well, we are winding down here, but thank you again for joining me here on Kindness Rising. I'm Matt Roof. I come here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, to get you up with a little bit of hope, humanity, heart, maybe a touch of humor too along the way, and maybe a thing or two that you can take away with you. And we are talking this week about clarity, about signal, about noise, and about simplification. And I want to leave you with this. Clarity is not about saying less. It's about saying what truly matters. Because when ideas are clear, people feel confident moving forward, creating momentum, igniting change, and keeping people moving in the right direction. Let's keep choosing signal this week. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on Kindness Rising on YouTube and LinkedIn as part of the Mornings in the Lab network. I hope you'll come and join me. Come see me then. I will be here. Until then, though, stay uncommon and stay kind. What if your mornings could be inspiring and ridiculously fun?
Kindness Rising isn't just a show, it's a full wake-up vibe.
It's freaking fun, people.
Yeah, man, it's got real get-after-it energy.
I love it.
Wake up with Kindness Rising.
I help purpose-driven people grow their impact. 5-ingredient recipe to help you build your personal brand, Get out there and take kind action.
If it's live, they'll feel it.
On Kindness Rising, we bring you proven strategies and fresh ideas you can actually use. If you're not failing, you're not trying.
Exactly. Fail fast, rebound faster.
You'll see the bloopers and the genuine connections that make kindness contagious. We sometimes get into a little bit of trouble.
Pretty much my life made the list.
You can trust what you see right here is honest, respectful, and uplifting. Social impact organizations, and we always talk about them. Try kindness. It's way cheaper than therapy. You just made my day.